I confess that I've always had trouble talking to people who speak in loud or aggressive tones. It distresses me, and I find it difficult sometimes even to continue the conversation unless they lower their voices. I never saw this as a problem, and as such gave little thought to the source of these frustrations. But just about a year ago, something happened that made me more attentive to these feelings. I met a patient who spoke with a volume that was disproportionate to the matter at hand. After failing to convince him to lower his tone, I started to raise my own voice. It was only then I noticed that the man was wearing a hearing aid. He wasn't yelling, he just didn't realize how loud he was. Why did I get so agitated, so overcome by emotion over something so simple as a raised voice? Such conversations exhaust me quickly, forcing me to retreat temporarily to recover all the energy I have lost. How many times did you face a situation that provoked negative feelings in you? And how many times was your response fear, tension, sadness, or anger? Before I began my journey of introspection, I had never taken much time to reflect on the meaning of these emotional responses. It seemed intuitive that the expression of negative emotions is rooted in the interaction between mind and body. But beyond that, it became clear to me that the thoughts behind such emotions are built on faulty impressions of how the world sees us. No one loves me. No one respects me. I need to fight to get what's rightfully mine. Such perceptions color the lens through which the mind views the events of daily life and categorize them as negative. This leads to the secretion of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. And if these secretions continue for a long time, they can lead to a host of physical illnesses. Some studies have also shown that just 5 minutes of intense anger can lower the immune system for more than 6 hours, making people more vulnerable to infections and even cancer. I discovered that emotions carry a kind of energy that can be stored in each of our cells and cause pain and disease. I found that the human intellect is one part of a larger universal intelligence, which makes the human body run perfectly without our supervision. You do not control the beating of your heart, the flow of blood through your veins, the respiration of your lungs, the working of your digestive system, nor do you control the God-given instincts that trigger protective responses to dangers from the external world. This fight or flight response explains why we throw ourselves into a river to save a drowning child, or race into a burning building to rescue a stranger. This rush of chemicals provides the energy and courage needed to overcome the possibility of death. This is the body's way of overriding the mind in moments of extreme danger, when survival depends on split-second responses of the body instead of the slow and rational responses of the mind. Ironically, this is the same system that is activated when one is suffering emotional stress. The body is smart, but it cannot distinguish between a real physical danger and a mere mental image of that danger. The stress hormones are secreted just the same. The heart beats, blood pressure rises, breathing accelerates, muscles contract, and if the imagined danger is severe enough, there is no difference between twisting and turning in your bed and fighting for your life on an actual battlefield. So knowing all of this, why would I hurt myself with my own hands through these negative feelings that poison the mind, body, and soul? All fingers point to the ego. The ego kindles the negative thoughts of the mind into the fire of emotions that are expressed by our bodies, and these emotions may turn into obsessions that impair one's rational functions. I realized that every body suffers from feelings of stress and exhaustion, not necessarily due to a real external threat, but due to negative thoughts and perceptions created by the ego within. So, what is the solution? The remedy starts with the understanding that we are not our thoughts and we are not our emotions. Instead, we are the consciousness and the awareness that observes and controls those thoughts and emotions. Awareness leads us to our true being, the Spirit of God in each one of us. A disciplined consciousness is the only thing that can differentiate between your true self and the thoughts and emotions that the ego uses to obscure that self. Only through detached observation and awareness do negative thoughts lose their power over us, thus creating a space to find stillness and presence. The feelings of the ego are earthly. They imprison us in the limited domain of physical life. The feelings of the spirit, on the other hand, are heavenly and free us to live in the unlimited. Here enter the 5 daily prayers in Islam, if duly performed, not as a set of ritual movements, but as a spiritual meeting of mind and body. The prayers can awaken our consciousness and correct our emotions. I realized God has given all of us the keys to access our true selves. By awakening our consciousness and creating a space between the self and image, we can guard ourselves against becoming hostage to our thoughts and emotions. We are not our thoughts. We are not our emotions. We are only the effect of those on our true self. By protecting that self, we elevate to a new level of peace and tranquility. Is there any greater purpose than to return with a peaceful soul to our Creator? O peaceful soul, return to your Lord, well-pleased and well-pleasing, and so enter among my beloved servants and enter my everlasting garden.